Okay, so today I'm joined by Undead. He's the owner of World Adventures. He's a very talented developer. I think he does scripting. He's currently learning to use Blender. Is that right? Or
Yeah, that's right.
okay, so he's kind of does a lot of things to do his dev work, but primarily he's known as the owner of World Adventures currently. You might recognize him from my past two videos on World Adventures. But yeah, what is the situation on World Adventures? When is it coming out? Is it still in development? What's going on with it all?
So, World Adventures, it's still in development and it is looking to be released this year, realistically. Um, since I've returned, I have done significant progress on the actual game, and this is in the result because I did some tutorial videos. I just learned the parts that needed to be filled if no one else could do it. So, that process really, bumped up the development of WA, and where where WA is going from this point is we're going to make more updates. We, as in myself, and I'm introducing another programmer. Hopefully, this one, actually does the work when I tell him to.
So
Um,
you had to take over when it comes to modeling and animations, or do you have
right.
like?
So I had to take over that because, I mean, I credit our past modelers for their efforts. However, it was abrupt to me some uh, 2 or so months ago when one of our main modelers left. He said he's leaving Roblox and he doesn't want any of his content to be out there. He just wants to keep it for himself. And being that he's actually created most of the content for World Adventures, I was at a loss at that point because I it is his work at the end of the day. So I had to abide, and I was ultimately looking for a modeler myself. However, all the people I did know or have been suggested to were busy. So I decided, hey, why don't I just take up modeling? I did building before scripting, so I'll just go and try this out.
So I'm
Uh,
assuming you
sa-
learned Blender, right, for the modeling.
uh, Yes, I'm very basic at it. However, I'm
Mm.
looking to improve, and I'm just, taking tips from friends at this point. And I will probably cover most of the modeling. If I'm not any good, I will definitely try to hire someone else. But right now, it's not looking too good for the development market. Trying to find a developer is kind of hard. So I'll just do it till then.
That's a very big task to take on because you're having to learn to basically do it all yourself. But when it comes to like, I'm assuming when it comes to animation, you're also doing animation on Blender, or
No, actually, I have used the Roblox Animator and Moon Suite. Those are the ones that I've been most acquainted with. I've yet to delve into modeling, not modeling, uh, animation on Blender,
well,
and
coincidentally, I just released a video on the like a beginner's intro to animation on Blender. It is actually really easy if you're familiar with Moon and familiar with just the general default animation stuff on Roblox. It's actually really easy to learn Blender. When it comes to animation, it's very similar from what I've seen. So definitely would
yeah,
probably
I'll,
be.
I'll definitely, I'll definitely take a look at it.
Thank you. Yeah. So we kind of talked about World Adventures. You're taking on all these roles when it comes to dev work. My only worry is that you're going to take on all these roles, and I mean, obviously, you don't claim to be, nor are you like it's not your specialty when it comes to things like modeling and animation. Like
Right. It's
you're more of a scripter.
modeling and animation have been something I haven't really touched up on Roblox. I've done professional building, I've done professional programming. I've done a lot of commissions around those areas. However, modeling and animating haven't been my forte.
So my only worry is now that you're going to go into like. Do you think you're going to be able to get your modeling, your animation, like up to a point where it will like be good enough for World Adventures?
Well, I do. I'm always learning. I take myself more of a student than a teacher. I definitely am trying to improve what I have and um, what I've been working with. I've been like doing my own research and doing my own things, revolving around trying to make myself better as whole. Um, However, if it comes a time where the community feels, hey, it's not really working out, this guy just sucks overall. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take the feedback, and I'll probably just hire someone else. But like I said, it's hard to find someone now that is up to the skill level that the community really wants.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very difficult task. I mean, when I heard that you were learning to model an anime on top of, I mean, obviously you're already a pretty skilled when it comes to building and programming. But when I heard you were learning all this new stuff, I was a little bit doubtful. But I was also like, well, he has learned stuff in the past. I'm sure that, like all things, the more he practices, the better he's going to get. And I mean, if you're ambitious enough, I'm sure you could take on all those roles. But so on topic of the future of the game, you said you're set for release before the end of the year.
Um, Pretty much at the end of the year or before the end of the year. It really depends on my schedule because I am still in university. I'm in my final year of university, so I cannot tell. I know my class load, I know my schedule, and I for sure can put at least 4 hours into the game just in development. I don't know how it's gonna turn out
Wait,
to.
4 hours in total before the end of the year, or?
No, just 4 hours every single day.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I was like, damn, you're only spending 4 hours.
No, it's not that. No, no,
Okay, so four
no.
hours every day. That's a lot of time to put into a game. So, so you're set for release for the end of the year or at the end of the year. Uh, what are you planning to have on release? Is it just going to be like a bare bones style game with a few islands and a few quests, or is it going to be like an actually fully fledged
I
like?
think that I will have most of the content that I was suggested by the community. Um, Not most in terms of like the entirety of it, but I have a lot of suggestions that I kept note ever since I created World Adventures, and it's very specific people that I will still note in my credit section for those people who gave those suggestions, whether they left already or they're still here. That's what I plan to do. Uh, in terms of what is actually going to be there on release. It's not going to be a bare bones release. It should keep you playing, keep the players playing uh, for quite a while, actually. It's not going to be a bandit beater. It may have some aspects of a bandit beater. However, it's not going to be entirely bandit beating.
Yeah, that's a good explanation. My thing is though, if you're going to release before the end of the year, you've got big titles like Pirate Destiny, Destiny Peace, GPO update 4 is coming soon. Lots of stuff is coming in terms of new games. Why? What do you think will set your game aside or apart from these other games? Like, what will draw players in? What ideas do you have the World Adventures that will really make it a unique and different experience to what's currently on the platform?
I would say generally when you go into game design, you kind of have your own plans. You have what you want to get done in the game. Not a lot of the game owners and game developers really consider the community's opinion. It is it, it's not the orthodox. It's not the ethical route, I would say, to choose to rely on the community's opinion on things. And I think that when I first entered, it was only because I had um, such a large fan base, and not just a fan base, a large amount of people who are interested in seeing a game that was built off their ideas, rather than someone who's presetting things, someone who's trying to sell something, rather than actually getting a good game out for people to play.
So to summarize, your idea is that your game's going to be almost in some ways directed by the community. It says that the community, what the community wants will be in the game, basically,
Pretty
to an
much.
extent.
I can't make everyone happy. However, I will try my best to go and take everyone's opinion, and I will try, and suggestions, of course. I will place them within the game and see how I can work certain aspects of the game to actually be as they are describing.
The only issue I have with that is that as much as I'm all for including the community's opinions when it comes to developer decisions, I do think there is like I do worry that if you include all suggestions, there's gonna be a few that aren't really good or balanced in some ways. So I'm assuming it's gonna be more of like you get the entire community's just like input before you add something major, or is it gonna be
Right.
like individual
Right.
basis?
So what we had planned within the staff is that we will take these suggestions and we'll make a public bulletin, a public post, a check mark, a X for if the suggestion is worth taking it into live game. Of course, we'll give an example in that suggestion. We'll make like a concept of what that would look like in the game and what facts and figures that we're working with to implement that into the game. So people get actually a better idea whether this should be actually implemented into the game rather than them saying, hey, something vague is just going to be tossed into the game and let's just hope this works.
That's a interesting take, but just to comment on like the current situation of World Adventures, from what I've heard, there's a lot of I guess speculation, or you could even call it like conspiracy, where people they're kind of there is definitely a lot of concern about whether the game is some sort of cash grab, whether it's some sort of like this is like for you playing 40 chess and like this is a way of getting hype for the game. I've heard a lot of crazy theories, and I was just hoping you could like dispel those rumors and just so the game is not going to be a cash grab.
Definitely not. In fact, when I first, mentioned or when I first like actually got the game and its ideas out, the first thing I stressed that it was going to be free. There's not going to be really any pay to win aspects. I would say a to get a better one up would probably be to join the actual group, which gives you like a little bit more money than everyone else within whatever quest you do. Besides that, I'm not going to sell anything. I'm not selling tester. I'm not selling any features in the game. It's really a passion project of mine, and I'm not looking to, profit big on something like this.
The, yeah.
As forever as a word can be, I'll try to get as much done with this game as I continue on Roblox for the rest of the years that I'm here.
So the money that was already raised, you said that went towards paying developers, right? That used to work on the game, but have now because there's
That
a
has
little
separated, yes.
yeah. So uh, in future, will any sort of donations will they also go towards like developers, or in this case, you as a solo developer, or I assume
Uh,
that's
I
all.
didn't
Yeah.
I didn't take anything for myself at the end of this. In fact, I tried to at this point I'm putting probably actually most of my own money into this game. And I have to say that for sure, I will use the money. If I get any donations, I'll use the money towards the developers. I told the community before I actually had the accident that or I think after, whether, I don't know. I know at some point I mentioned to the community if they really wanted to, they could, not, be part of the Patreon. Like I could, if they really so believed that I was using the funds for any other reason, they could just cut off. Like I don't, it's not like I don't need it, but I definitely, you know,
So to comment on the accident, so you were involved in a car crash, right, or some sort of car accident?
yes.
Yeah, and that left you. Were you in? Because you weren't able to work on the game for a while, right? You were in hospital, or
Initially, sorry. Initially, when the car crash happened, rushed to the hospital. They said that I had some minor injuries, nothing serious, and I was let go from that point. I was still I was still had casts on. I still couldn't do any work. I generally tried to knock out coursework at the same time, but that was not working out. I had to catch up on some of that too. But overall, let's see.
So as unfortunate as the car accident was, I mean it did set the game back a bit, which is expected. But you're still set because it was originally set for a summer release, which I think everyone kind of knew was really optimistic. Definitely at the start. So
I would
uh,
say it it wasn't it was optimistic, but it was also at the time realistic. It's because everyone was full gear. All the developers I had were just like, let's get stuff done. And I was really. It's not that I'm optimistic as a person, but I'm also realistic, and I wouldn't say something unless I know that at the time it could be done. And at the time, yes, I did not foresee essentially all my developers, even one, kind of scamming me out of some money. I did not see that happen. I did not see it at the time. I saw what I had. I saw the resources that were given to me, and I said that this would be done.
yeah, well,
I, I do not take
hmm,
back what I said, and I know that it's not what everybody wanted. I saw that the very negative feedback that I got
yeah.
during that time I had that disposition. I saw that, and I mean, I was overall depressed. I still looked forward to work on the game. I understood that a lot of the active community actually left the game during
Yeah,
that period.
I was gonna say like I remember I think it was Malik and a bunch of other people who were almost like probably your biggest supporters when it came to the game. Like they were in chat, they were talking, they were trying to spread invites for the game. It was all like quite a big thing. Like almost like a lot of people were behind the game. And as the car crash happened, or the car accident, sorry, a lot of those people they left, and it was really it's really sad to see them leave the community. But what was really annoying, not annoying, but what was really like important to mention is that they left not leaving out of like, oh, I'm bored of the game. It was more of like, I'm leaving and I don't like Undead anymore. Like there was a very like full 180 kind of shift about their opinion on you, and I mean,
I think
yeah.
I understand. I understand in a way. I haven't actually fully talked to one of those people that I have one added that separated that was also one of the bigger supporters of the game and most active. However, I did not actually get a chance to talk with them. I did see some of your comments. I did see what they had to say, and I do apologize to them as well as the community that I was not more open. I kind of I don't like to throw my staff out there, but my staff have lives. They were doing what they were doing, and I felt that I was kind of like leading the community, actually setting up events and stuff. And all this came down on me where I had so many responsibilities. And as my developers were leaving, I kind of went back and was like, holy crap, is this actually going to go anywhere? I doubted myself during that time. And I saw that the way I was acting with the community was not actually right. And I kind of left them out and I made promises that I couldn't keep. And I
Would
could
you
see why they are upset.
would you be opposed to sometime in the future? Obviously, no like sudden like timeline or date, but would you be opposed to just like perhaps a call where you could interact with these people and just explain? I mean, that's kind of what this like podcast style interview is for. It's mainly just as like a an explanation to, I mean, the greater community of what's going on. And I feel like it might be helpful to have that kind of because obviously the podcast is great and does help explain it, but it's very one-sided like feedback. Like obviously they can't really. I mean, they could do in the comments, but it's very hard for them to voice their opinion. So would you consider like in the future perhaps like a Discord call where you could like interact with like the general supporter base? Like, would that be on the table or?
For sure, for sure. I'll definitely take that opportunity to, express myself to them, as well as the community. It can be anyone can join. Um, I also would like to, besides this video, to publicly apologize to them and pretty much to everyone here because I thought, and I really stress the I thought part. I thought that I could actually release this game with the amount of content that I promised by the end of summer of 2021.
Yeah. I do feel like though, I mean, setting release dates is always a really difficult thing because if you set it too late or too early and you miss it, it can be really like it can really destroy that trust that a community has in a game, which I think is really important. So I applaud the fact that you're trying to rebuild that. It's great. But so on topic of World Adventures, right? The game is gonna launch as a One Piece game, right? Like that's the framework for it. Hello?
Sorry, you kind of
Yeah.
like cut off on
Oh,
my
did
end.
I? My bad. I said so. The game is planning to launch as a One Piece game, right? Like that's the framework for it.
Essentially, I'm following One Piece. Yes. It will have a few touches that may not be shown within the anime and or manga, for sake of copyright. I know copyright's a big thing. It's been taking down a lot of games, and being One Piece is still, I don't have rights to One Piece. I'm not saying it is One Piece. However, there will be my little spin to it, and
One Piece
there will
inspired
be
elements, right? Like that's like the
the thing
goal.
is
Yeah.
the thing is the the community will fully know what my spin is to all of this. It is definitely something that everyone will know. It's not like I will keep it a secret and say, "Hey, some random thing out of completely nowhere from a different anime will just show up in this game."
Yeah. I mean, it's a very difficult line to tread because when it comes to anime games on Roblox, in my opinion, you really don't want to. The community might ask you to follow it really strictly, but a lot of the time, taking that like creative, I guess, intuition or just in general making like personal decisions for the game that might not correspond directly with the anime that you're basing the game off of. I think that can actually be pretty constructive for a game. Like I kind of encourage devs to take more like to be more creative and not follow the like the anime script as much if it were. But so
Well,
I'm
that's
just yeah.
exactly what we're gonna do here, on World Adventures. We take the concept, or not the concept. We take the idea that so and so map has to look like this. However, it's not what it has to be. We just take the island, we understand the surroundings, for example, and we make something like it. We know it won't look exactly like it, but we make something like it. In fact, we will try and make it look even better than what is shown on the anime and or manga.
Even better. I mean, that's a very
Well,
ambitious.
creative,
Yeah,
I would say
yeah,
even better would probably be the lack for better words. It's all depends on someone's opinion. I would say artistically, it would look more creative.
yeah, for sure. I mean, anime games on Roblox, it's a very weird, I guess, thing in general because obviously no one like Grand Peace Online, King Peace, Block Fruits, they don't own the material they're kind of referencing. So it's a very like strange kind of world they have. But what are your thoughts on other One Piece games that are currently on the platform at the moment, like Blocks Fruits, GPO, King Peace? Like, what's your opinion on them in general?
Well, generally, the people that knew me from pretty much when I started this thing knows my opinion on GPO and blocks roots, so I don't really need to go into that. Um, that you can it's easy research material if you really wanted to go into it. So, regarding other One Piece games that are also set to release, I would say it's just one of those. It's not actually I'm not competing here, but I would like to take a competitive mindset to challenge other games to see whether if they can, catch up and try to see if they can either, maybe get inspired from the work that I do, or if I get inspired from the work they do and I proceed to add those systems onto my own game.
So you're willing
I
to like
I
adapt
like I
and
like
take
to I
ideas
like
that
to play fair. I
play
like to
fair.
play
Yeah.
fair, but I like to play fair, but I also like to be competitive. And for the competitive side of me, I will say that be inspired from what I send out, and I'm probably inspired from whatever you show.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a thing where if an element is good, I wouldn't shy away from emulating it. Like, for example, if a game's got a really good combat system or a really good, like, devil fruit system, it's not a bad idea to emulate it. Because in the other community likes it. My only problem is, though, is when it comes to the bandit beater thing, you said your game was going to be have bandit beater elements, but not be a bandit beater. My question for you, though, is when it comes to what's going to replace that, because obviously games like Blox Fruits King Peace and GPO, it is ultimately just the same quest pasted again and again and again. Now, if you remove a lot of that Bandibeat elements, you're kind of left with a gap, and it's like, what do you fill that with?
I would say that right now we are still looking. I mean, we had the solution before, but we feel like we could expand our horizons and we could go forward with actually releasing things that are, kind of away from that bandit beating sort of uh, copy. Like, I don't want to make another GPO. I don't want to make another Blocks Fruits. So why do that and just put in my own features that make the game also very enjoyable and progressive?
I mean, from like
So
a player's perspective, what kind of like do you play a lot of One Piece games on Roblox? Do you have any like have you played them or?
yes, actually when I got introduced into One Piece games on Roblox when I was working under GPO, I saw that we actually um took them as competitors at first, and then Foyu did his thing and got to know pretty much all of them. And he actually got inspired a lot. Um, a lot of his ideas changed over the 4 years of creation of GPO, only because the amount of games and One Piece games that were releasing at the time, and I got to actually play and experience all those games that released at the time, and I'm still like I like to relive those moments, and I play them on Roblox from time to time, so I can better improve the game that I'm currently making.
Which which games did you play that you particularly enjoyed? Like, were there any titles that you thought were like really good, or
I would say One Piece Millennium. That was pretty good.
One Piece
Also
Millennium? Huh?
also Golden Age was good.
See, I don't know these two. I personally, I was more of like I guess I played a bit of Steve's One Piece, but I was more into like have you heard of One Piece Final Chapter 2? It was a
Yes.
yes. Did you play it or?
I think I played it once with a friend, but then I ultimately got destroyed, so I left.
Yeah, I mean it was a very unique One Piece game in terms of the features it had. It had like island capture. It had like um, what did it have? It had like a working fishing system. It had tons of mini games inside the game. It had like the boss fights were interesting. It was a really unique game at the time, and I feel like it was kind of like a big like in my mind. It made me think that there can be two games based off the same anime in the same space, but have like completely different mechanics. And it made me think that like maybe in terms of like your game to apply it to World Adventures, perhaps World Adventures will be this different game that is similar but also like a very unique experience.
Right. So the end goal um for World Adventures is not to be the best game on best One Piece game on Roblox. However, to take the title of the most, I would say, lengthy played, if that's the case, I would say people would stick around after maybe the 20th update, the 30th update. I'm not looking to slow down or stop my
30th
updates even.
update. Ooh, it's like I personally didn't even believe GPO would last 10 updates, but it might well do. I mean, it's only on update 4 right now, but obviously, of course,
I
GPO update's much slower, so there's.
I only say this because I have experience with lengthy updated games. I am a contributor for Base Wars. Some people know this game, some people don't. However, it is the oldest, long-lasting, updated game on Roblox to date. Still has 100 something players on it, updated every 2 weeks, and it was a game that was released in 2008 and actually won a award in 2009 and an award in 2013. So I wasn't there the entire time, but I saw the sheer dedication from these developers, and that inspired me to actually continue games that I actually work on and not leave them to die.
I mean, your career on Roblox must have been a lengthy one. Then. How long have you been in the space? How long have you been doing dev work for?
I started dev work in 2011. I've been playing Roblox since pretty much, it's released. Um, I was one of the I think, first 300 players on Roblox.
First 300 players on Roblox. I mean, obviously, were you doing dev work from the very beginning, or like when did you, like, when did you first
No,
start?
at the time, I was just a kid. I was just, just looking at Roblox like, "Oh, this is something else to play, and it's Legos. Fun."
When did that shift to like I can make things on the platform, I can create things? When did that shift occur? Was it like in your late teens, or when did you really like start getting into dev work?
I would say my early teens. I realized that in real life that I was more of a um technological technology type person, like both like try and fix things and stuff like that. So I moved on to Roblox and I was like, hey, I can make cool stuff by putting some code together. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I went to building and then kind of like mixed between the two. I did some building, some scripting, did that over the years. And I had a period where I actually created a game with a friend that actually got to the front page. So I've had my time up there before. So I kind of know the feeling of having a larger player base. Back then in 2017, when having 6,000, 7,000 to 10,000 people on your game was just a marvel.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like it's impressive how long you've been on the platform in general, but also like your work kind of speaks for itself in a lot of ways. Like you, like in terms of like, is there because were you doing scripting and building for like the same duration, or were you like doing building and then you switched to scripting? Like what kind of like what
I
way around was
I
it?
was essentially juggling both. I did a lot of commission work for people. I did some trading. By the way, trading is just a waste of time at that point. I realized that. Um, I did a
What were
lot of
you
that.
trading?
I did stuff in trading and,
What
well, like
is
hats and items, I limited.
okay, yeah, I've heard about that. I never got into it myself. I kind of joined Roblox a little bit later. Well, I played it for a while. I
Hey,
played it since I was very young, but I kind of like started taking it a little bit more seriously later on. And I've heard about like the trading stuff. Like, what's it all about?
like, overall, just a huge waste in time. However, you can consider it its own little game on Roblox. A Roblox provided game, but it costs some of your own money if you want to spend money to do so.
Like
So at
gambling,
the
right?
time, it's pretty much gambling, yeah.
Yes, there are a lot of elements on Roblox that are a little bit like sketchy for me. Like the whole Robux in general has always been a bit weird for me. Like as a dev, do you think making games and just building things on Roblox, do you like Roblox as a platform? Do you think it's like needs loads of improvements or
I like Roblox as a platform. It, of course, needs its improvements, and I have submitted my own bug fixes towards the actual site itself. I have fellow developers who've opted to try to help Roblox and the Roblox staff to better fix their website and mobile and just overall the different devices before making plugins to help the players. So I've been there. Seen some stuff, but right now that all my focus is to World Adventures. I do have some games that I have lined up working just to help out some friends. I'm doing some stuff on this game called Bushido. It's a pretty good samurai type game. Um, Another fairy tale game a friend is making. I am no significant part of any of these projects. I'm just there to help some friends while I'm working on my own game.
Yeah. So you like Roblox as a platform. Obviously, it has room for improvements, but in general, like, I mean, I've always felt that it was really good how Roblox kind of created a platform for people to get started when it comes to development. Where we left off, though, I've always admired how Roblox it's very beginner friendly. It feels like you can just get started, watch a few tutorials, and then just learn. Like, how did you find it in that sense? Did you find it easy to easy to learn Roblox? Was it hard? How did you
Um,
find it?
I would say that I like to read. I did the crazy thing according to most developers, and I sat down and read the entirety of the Roblox wiki.
You read the entirety of the Roblox wiki.
When I first started programming in Lua, I read that entire thing and I was like, so these functions I can use on this, and what can I create from reading this? I just was a giant big bookworm, so I went and actually read it, and then when I really didn't understand something, I would go to videos. A few videos that were notable to me were Peace Pod. Some of his videos are dated, but he's a generally a good guy to listen to, and he better explains things than I could probably do.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like Roblox in general has always been like it's a really big like it's like the first. I feel like if you want to get into game development, Roblox is a great place to start in terms of like it kind of like you need certain skills for Roblox that are just in general pretty useful. Like there's different things you can choose to do, like model, animate, script. There are a lot of like paths you can take, and I've always found it really cool about like I've always found it really cool because of that, like the freedom it gave to developers. Um,
And just generally helping other developers, reach whatever their dreams are. There's a point where, though I do have a feud with Foyu, uh, earlier on, Foyu used to ask me for help with scripts and help with different things that so voluntarily. I helped him. I helped many other people in the developing world that showed up today. Now they're still running on the front page. They're some of the games that are most notable to players, something to remember. And I'm glad that in a way I contributed to helping these guys create some of the best games on Roblox.
so from that aspect, when it comes to like just in general, but like becoming a developer on Roblox, what do you? Because I know at the moment there's a lot of talk around money on the Roblox platform. Like, how much money is this dev making? Is this game making this much money? And it's like, do you think, as a developer, do you think Roblox is moving more towards like a platform where people can make like good money doing work? Or like, has it changed in that sense? Has it always been like that? Was it like,
I, I would say that Roblox, sorry to cut you off, I would
or
say that Roblox is definitely an area to make some money, and definitely as a side hustle. Don't get distracted from your school. Don't get distracted from work and real life. Don't get distracted just from real life, because don't set your expectations too high. Roblox is something that ultimately can give you an opportunity to start whatever or to earn the money that you need for whatever you're trying to get, as long as you put in work for it and have some dedication towards your work. You can definitely see some player base on Roblox. There definitely is not. enough developers. We should definitely try to get more developers out there and more games. Uh, because as you see, the front page, not just the front page, featured, learning, exploring, sponsored, all these wonderful games that are made by developers, not for the sake of just money, but just so people can experience their ideas. That's really that's the goal at the end of the day.
So
Trying to
money
get
should
people out
like
there.
it should always be it should never be your main thing. Like doing dev work on Roblox should never be your main thing. It should always be like a side. Like always focus on real
It's
life first and then Roblox after. You're saying,
right.
or
I would
yeah.
say uh, the best way to explain Roblox and Roblox developing is if you're not going to be a game designer, then it's definitely a side hustle that you should explore. There's definitely money to be made on Roblox and games to share with your friends and family. Um, it is definitely something that everyone should probably take a part in, experience at least one time in their life, the developing part of Roblox. Because sometimes, you're lucky you get into it. Sometimes, things just don't work out, but you still had experience and you still had fun along the way.
I mean, that is true, and obviously, I encourage people to like learn things, and especially like if you play Roblox, you might as well like learn how it actually works at like a mechanic level, like things like how to script, how to animate. It's definitely worth just learning something. But I mean, like there's starting to be this kind of, at least in my experience, I'm kind of starting to notice certain developers. Like obviously you have Foyu, Banir, Danube. When it's like people who are creating really really good stuff on Roblox, and they're kind of like getting this like almost it's really like I guess like status. Like Foyu just hit 100k subs on YouTube, I think, or he has around that. Danube's got like 14k, and it's like devs are kind of starting to have their own like I guess fan base. And like, what do you think about that? Is that like a new thing in your opinion, or is it like always been there? Or
It's pretty much always been there. It's whether or not you wanted to explore those things. It's just based on superior marketing. It's as long as you get your uh, you know as long as you know where you want to be on Roblox, then you pretty much can set yourself up for it. In the case of you know, game developers that create their own YouTube channels. That's a great idea, especially considering, you're trying to get people, to see your game. But now that they're actually actively following you, you can also show them, just your general life or, the process of making the game or maybe, them promoting another game of their friends.
would you
Ultimately,
then consider would you consider a Undead or a World Adventures YouTube channel in the future? Is that on table or?
I was really just heading forward to make a Twitter account. I'm not someone who really posts too much on YouTube. However, I will, uh, if I need to, I can make a YouTube channel. It's not hard to make a YouTube channel. Definitely not hard to also post some videos on an update or something. I just haven't, went forward to do that just yet.
Well, what I'm thinking is typically games nowadays, like Anime Legends, they'll release like a trailer almost before the game releases. Like, when do you think we're gonna get the first like major World Adventures trailer?
I think considering the work that is being done at the moment, that we should probably see it somewhere in September, like late September, if not early October.
So the trailer will come late September or early October, is the
Right.
prediction, right?
That's pretty much the prediction at the moment.
And I'm assuming you want to have a few islands and some quests by then, or like what's like on release? Are we gonna see this huge game world, or is it gonna be more like a kind of a small like there's a few islands? It's gonna be more like an introductory kind of thing, or is it gonna be like this is the full game? Like this is like a real project, or because I know games a lot of games release nowadays, and there's really not too much content. It's very simple and they kind of add a little bit every single update. It's kind of like that kind of style. But are you planning for like a big release, or what's the plan?
I think overall it's just going to be a bigger release. It definitely is not going to be anything short of just, a few islands, something small. It's not going to be anything like that. With the current content we have now, for those who would look at the World Adventures Updates channel, we already have 4 to 5 actually massive sized islands finished. Uh, that were also those are going to be seen on release. Anything that's in that update channel is going to be seen on release. Um, and like when we go and make updates for anything past release, we will start posting it in the update channel saying that this will happen after release. But like everything that's there that you see, if it has not been revamped or retouched on, then it's showing up on release. So it's a good amount of content that you'll see.
That's reassuring. Do you do you have like like do you have it written down somewhere what ideas you want to have in the game? Like, is there going to be fishing? Is there going to be like I don't know, like dungeons, like bosses? Like, what's like? Do you have these kind of things written down, or is it going to be like off? Like, are you going to kind of like go with it and see where the game goes, or?
I actually have, I don't have it on this hard drive, but I have actually saved it on my laptop. A actually a very large and lengthy suggestions list from some of the actual fan base that we have on World Adventures, suggesting some mini games I can input into the game, some stuff that people would enjoy to see as like an extra, like would add to the
Could you share
content
any
of
of
the game.
these, or like in particular, like what
Um,
kind of?
I would say fishing is one. Fishing definitely will have its part. It won't be like a fishing rod and you'll be stuck with the same line forever. You can actually have progression in fishing. You can see things like actually sitting down. Like if you want to enter a trap keeper, there will be traps for. It doesn't follow exactly the One Piece storyline, but there will be things like capturing, and actually we have uh, just recently suggested by one of my staff members will be introducing animated cooking. This idea actually came off of um, what was that game?
I mean, if you put a
Monster Hunter. That is
yeah,
the
yeah,
game,
yeah, yeah.
Monster Hunter.
Like if you put in like a fully working like cooking system, like one of those old like web browser cooking games from like the 2000 like tens, when it was like like you put the ice cream in the like those kind of things where it's like a fun little mini game that can be pretty cool. I mean, definitely,
Generally,
yeah.
generally that's what we're gonna have. Of course, it's not gonna be anything too
That's yeah.
far from basic. It's not gonna be like advanced cooking or anything like that. However, if you really get into it, you can actually there will be different food items. There won't be just potions and you taking potions. I overall think the potion idea is a bit boring. There will be potions, but like that's if you don't want to do cooking, you just have a bunch of potions and use a bunch of potions. But I feel that also will enter a cooking aspect of it, which will follow with a little eye candy of animations done by the chefs that are located in each island, and you are able to mess around and make your own dishes.
That's pretty cool. I mean, but one thing I'm sure a lot of people are going to be asking about is when it comes to devil fruits. Are you going to opt for a kind of blocks fruits kind of style devil fruit system where it's like you can buy them from a seller, or is it going to be like you can only find them? Like what's like how are we going to get devil fruits in World Adventures? Like how's that going to work?
So Devil Fruits and World Adventures, one of the ideas that I had early on were this involves fishing. You can actually fish for one. It's like a rarity system.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I know you know Captain Maui. He's releasing Sen Peace or Eternal Seas.
Yes.
Yeah, he said in his trailer that you could fish up like mythical weapons or like devil fruits, and I was like, maybe that's not the best idea, just
Well,
because
the
it's probably very easy to like exploit, just auto farm.
so essentially to I didn't really go too deep into this. You'll be able to fish up a common level devil fruit.
Oh, okay.
Nothing higher. The more higher devil fruits, of course, it'll be, it'll spawn on trees. The more like rare it is, like the harder, it'll be to obtain said fruit. It won't be like, I don't really like to throw anyone under the bus here, but it's a GPO system of devil fruits where, some preset 5,000 or 10,000 will spawn. The ratios on there were insane. You saw everyone with a Logia, and it was not right for, people that just get into the game and they're sitting there for 10 plus hours getting only Suke. Everyone knows the Suke grind.
Yeah, I mean
It,
that's
it
definitely a big
and then
issue.
people just join the game and they find like five Magu fruits. And like it's so off, that those ratios are so off, and you have to wait how many hours to get it too.
Like
So
I think
like
it's 4 hours for Delphi to spawn.
right, so it's I looked at those features and I was like, that is definitely wrong. I have to give more options to the player rather than just sit there, because sitting there will be a part of it, but something like 4 hours is just insane.
When it
That
comes
doesn't
to
that that doesn't mean the Delphi market will be flooded. It just means that it will, there will actually be public, there'll be public numbers showing the chance of a Delphi fruit to spawn and what kind of Delphi fruit, right? The
yeah,
rare.
so will you in that case? I saw you mention like a market. So will there be a working and like practical trading system in the game, like off the bat?
Um, Actually, I've been working on a trading system just yesterday. An actual there could be a so Prince's idea, one of my contributors, was to make a global sort of trading system, which is 100% possible. We've done already a global crew system for the game, for crew invites. And
So
so,
just sort of people listening, when it comes to you said like a global crew system, that's like across servers, right? That's like the entire
yes,
game. Yeah,
that's cross servers.
that's very different to what we usually see. I mean, if you can get that working, which you say you can, I mean that's going to be very revolutionary.
It is working right now. That system is actually completed.
Will it be able to like have you stress tested it? Will it work with all of it like the hundreds of players that we're playing or
Yes. So we've actually did a closed testing between the world admins, the couple of developers that I had, and a couple of friends. We've had them join separate servers, and we've sent cross server invites, and they were able to join our servers, join our crew, get with us on the spot, and the cross server crew system also puts all the bounty together in one whole thing. So it picks up and it updates the bounty like every 10 seconds. We can update it sooner, but you will see that your total crew bounty will show up on your whatever server you're on.
so another thing to lead on for this, like another thing you've talked about before is the players, like the server size. You're aiming for like pretty like large server sizes, right? Like a lot of players.
Right.
Is that
So
still a thing
we
that you're going
yes,
for? Or?
that's the core. That is the core feature in which I really built the game on. That was the first feature that I worked on, and I'm still improving it to date. I've actually been asked recently about how I accomplished such feat, and I have let's just say a few game developers that are very much interested in purchasing said system, which I am definitely not selling.
You're
They
not
can
going to
figure it
sell
out
it.
themselves. They can definitely figure it out themselves.
But why wouldn't
It
you
took
sell
me
it?
a bit, because it right now it sets me apart from all other games, especially
That's
on
true.
Roblox,
Yeah.
considering the amount of content that I'll have in a single game, um, with the
Now,
amount of players that I'll have in the game and the amount of action that will happen in that game. So
I'm assuming
it
it's based
definitely
on render like distance, right? Or what's the
it's based on render. It's based on you know overall, just generally render. Um, it's based on a lot of key factors. Your internet's another one where it doesn't stress your internet at all. It actually is pretty good on your internet. It just picks up and it decides whether it will smooth out certain effects or certain attacks if there is, let's say, 100 people in a single area using attacks all at the same time. It will, you know, I'm using AI, so I'm actually determining whether it is something that should be really stressing the user. Some people had a question on my render system before whether a giant battle from some 3 islands away of 100 people would affect a person fishing at 3 islands away, the other 3 islands. So no, that's not going to affect the player. We actually stress tested that. We did it with a mass NPC system, and we did it with the amount we had did it with a large amount of friends at the time because we weren't ready to show the testers it because we've uh, let's actually save that for after I conclude this. Um,
Oh wait,
so
wait,
we
wait. So you're not gonna? I mean,
okay.
that.
So let me finish. So
Yeah, yeah, no worries.
the user phishing will not be affected at all by whatever the 100 people or so dueling it out for, you know, the dub.
Yeah, but when it comes to testers in general, I mean, there was a lot of, I guess, a lot of testers felt like they were kind of. They felt like the game didn't get like the tester version of the game. They felt like it didn't get enough updates. They felt like they weren't seeing anything in the game. So just to clarify, was there stuff going on like behind the scenes that the testers weren't seeing, or was it all like shown to us?
This all the stuff, there was actually a lot going behind the scenes, and the only thing reason that I really didn't make public until, well, this stream and this call is that we've actually we've had some testers working with some of our admins to thin out the tester group to see who's inactive. But then we've heard some reports that someone was leaking to FOU, someone was leaking to this person or that person. And we actually couldn't narrow it down, but we saw multiple people, we saw multiple leaks, and we figured just overall we should just stop showing a certain amount of content to the testers. If we need something tested, I would snatch like a few testers and say, "Hey, let's test this thing." But besides that, I just felt overall that uh, I can't blame all the testers. I know that they were there for good reasons, and actually some of them were inactive too, but the people that were active, I just couldn't tell who was actually showing my content that specifically only for testers to the competitors.
I mean, the 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 current tester server is available. There is footage available on YouTube that I've seen that someone was leaking direct to YouTube. So it probably was pretty smart that you didn't go ahead and just let that let everyone see everything because people were leaking it. That was like an actual thing. Um, so I'm assuming the testers that are there currently will be getting some sort of updates in the next coming months. So like we are going to see some stuff, right? Or what's the?
Definitely, there's definitely stuff that will be out, um, and I'll pick some testers to come and test it. I'll also pick people from the public to come and test it. At this point, I'm just picking random people. It's more so I just need people to test, and it's not hard to find people. I don't even need people from WA to test it.
Yeah,
I just need it to see if it's working, and I only reason I would choose people within my own community is because they've played many One Piece games before and they know exactly what to break, and I'm happy. Like I want them to break stuff so I can fix it. So when it hits live, people don't complain about a single issue over and over again.
I mean we're coming towards an hour or so of the call. Is there anything you want to talk about before we end the call? Anything you want to clear up? Just any like last ditch things you wanna mention?
I would say I just ultimately apologize for setting and promising a certain time. There were some unforeseen things that happened, and I definitely, there's nothing I can do to, only I can only say I apologize. Um, I'm working to get this game out, and I'll just keep doing updates. And I said it before, and I still say it now. Even if I have the last player on the game, I will still be doing my weekly updates.
Okay, so just to conclude the the video, you can find Undead's game. It'll be linked in the description below. World Adventures. Subscribe to the channel, of course, and thanks for joining me here, Undead. I think you're a very talented and interesting developer, and I do follow World Adventures quite carefully. I have been following it for the last, like, ever since it came into existence. I think one of my first videos was Will Starpiece succeed? Will Starpiece fail? It's been a long time, but yeah, thanks for joining me today. It was great. And yeah, so I'm
Yep.
going to end the video. So thanks for watching, you guys. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. All right, bye, guys.